What we are watching today is, I think, what quite a lot of people see, particularly in the Premier League, and they wonder, therefore, whether it is as exciting as it was a decade ago, which is this horseshoe football, isn't it? Comes to one side, you don't cross it into, you go all the way back out the other. You say,
yeah, no, I can get that sometimes when you're trying, if you're trying to keep possession, or you're up against a really good defensive team. You thought, listen, we have to pass and probe, but against a lesser opposition, and you've got it in the wide positions, and you've got time. Don't be reluctant to cross it.
Yeah.
If you can't play with freedom against teams like Andorra, you're in trouble. And I still think England were still a bit uptight with some of their passing in the final turn.
We'll get back to Keane in just a quick second, but remember, if you like this video, please like, share and subscribe. And don't forget to click the notification button so that you know when the next Big D video hits. And as ever, if there's something on your mind, if something is bubbling up inside of you that you need to express, please express it in the comments. The Big D reads all of the comments and he's always interested in what is on your mind. Anyway, in this clip, Roy Keane and Ian Wright talk about England's frustrating, insipid 2-0 victory over lowly Andorra in the World Cup qualifier. He gives his thoughts on Thomas Tuchel and Reece James as well. And yeah, I think Roy Keane is vocalising what we're all thinking about England when they play against some of these lesser nations. But anyway, stick around for after the clip because the Big D is going to be giving his thoughts on what he thought of the game and what Roy had to say. Anyway, here he is.
The one thing we've learned today, that everybody's learned today about England, is Elliot Anderson's possible suitability at this level. I'm not sure we learnt much else, did we?
Well, not really. But we got the job done against a frustrating team. But again, we've got somebody who's come into the fold who hopefully, when he plays against better opposition, he can go again. Because if he does, then that's going to be someone that we need. We need that player.
Yeah, I don't think the manager didn't look too happy at the end there. I think he'd be frustrated again with the second half. We're on about setting high standards and getting into good habits. I still think England fell back into their old ways again tonight. Certainly in the second half, sideways, backwards passes. We saw their 2 goals tonight, particularly the second one, just from across. They've got to cross it a bit more. Don't complicate the game. And I still think they go backwards too many times.
Yeah, you were actually asking while we were watching the second half to put some crosses in. Very simple what Reece James does, isn't it? Gets it out of his feet.
Especially if you've got players like Reece James in possession. We saw the goal, it was very straightforward. Obviously, he gets good first touch, and Declan just walks in there. And the beauty with the cross, it's always Andorra aren't even set up for it because they've been used to dealing with balls in front of them. But nice pace of pass, just put it in there. I watch all levels of football, as we all do. The amount of goals that come from crosses, England's 2 goals today come from crosses. Don't be reluctant to cross the ball. And a lovely finish by Rice. Very good.
They want to stop us coming through them because obviously they were quite narrow. So the space is on the wing, and we have got players who can head the ball. You just think, get the ball wide, get the ball in the box. You see how dishevelled they were, and all over the place when the ball was going in the box. Just do that.
Yeah, especially when you've got time on the ball and you've got bodies in there, because when players come back out, they're going back out the other side to do what? To cross it anyway. But you've got that opportunity, take it.
What we are watching today is, I think, what quite a lot of people see, particularly in the Premier League, and they wonder, therefore, whether it is as exciting as it was a decade ago, which is this horseshoe football, isn't it? Comes to one side, you don't cross it into, you go all the way back out the other. You say,
yeah, no, I can get that sometimes when you're trying, if you're trying to keep possession, or you're up against a really good defensive team. You thought, listen, we have to pass and probe, but against a lesser opposition, and you've got it in the wide positions, and you've got time. Don't be reluctant to cross it.
Yeah,
especially when you're playing against a team that they haven't scored in I don't know how many games it is. 14 games or so. I don't know. You can afford to try and pass it through. Then you'll get it back in a couple of passes.
If you can't play with freedom against teams like Andorra, you're in trouble. And I still think England were still a bit uptight with some of their passing in the final third.
What about Eza in that sort of number 10 role? How do you think he did?
Well, I thought that he would have I thought that in some instances, like we saw in the first half, just stay still and get on the ball. And he had an opportunity in the first half where he done that, got his half a yard and took the shot. You'll probably be disappointed. He could have done better with that. But as long as Eberechi is staying in that area, I'm really happy with him.
The worry for me, I think we talk about players like this. I think I think you've done okay, but the manager should be saying okay is not good enough. We need to set higher standards than that.
Thomas, you said it.
Do you find his singling out of players quite refreshing? Because he doesn't do it aggressively, does he? He's just saying, no, he needs to concentrate a little bit more. He trained well, but didn't play quite as well as I like today. Do you mind the way he does that?
I don't mind. It's a nice message to the players, and it never seems too harsh. There's a nice tone with it, and he seems to be coming from a good place. So I think the players would appreciate that.
Because it's as if to say, I know what you're capable of. So just, concentrate more there, try a bit harder there. You could be really, really good in that position.
Yeah, because there's a lot of emphasis on England to win well, and I don't think we've ever done that. We've always been attritional in games and get it done. I think the women showed that, but the way he is and the way he talks about it, he tells them instantly. You can see him on the line when he's upset with something, and they know the levels that they need to get to, and they're going to make sure that. And what I should say is, what he wants them to do is, when they're playing, is to bring out the best of what they're capable of doing.
This goes back to the short-term contract, doesn't it? In terms of his attitude. Yeah. I'm not here for long enough to have to worry about it, or frankly be too worried about how you're going to react. You know, you've got to do it if you want to be in my team.
And that might work. You know, he hasn't got any long-term plans with this group of players, and that's why after games maybe he can be critical. But again, he's got a nice tone to him. Yeah. And he mentioned there about the final pass from the attacking players, but that's really important. So he's also been critical of him, but a nice way about him.
Yeah.
If he stays fit, would he be first choice, do you think?
I think so, yeah. When you look at what he's capable of doing, whether it's defending, passing, even if he inverts and going to the midfield, he's comfortable there. And we've seen that if he gets the time, space, he'll cross the ball and put it pinpoint. And defensively, very sound. Absolutely, yeah. If he could stay fit, no danger.
Yeah. And the manager knows him. I mean, which is hugely important, is it? Because the manager knows he can trust him.
He's got great quality. We saw a brilliant ball in the first half that Kane probably should have got the end of it. The key for him now is staying fit over the next few months. He gets some games under his belt and get up to speed. And the good thing for England tonight, somebody's lad needed the minutes and it wasn't demanding on him, so there'd be a better place for Tuesday.
Elliot Anderson, I think, is going to play in Belgrade, isn't he? I like the way he didn't shy away from that either. Didn't say, just wait and see for selection. No, he's good enough.
Well, that's what you want. As a young player, he said he was nervous at the start of the week. You want that backing from the manager and that trust, and that gives you great belief as a player.
Will there be a part of this squad who actually want Tuesday to be quite fiery, quite hostile, very demanding? Will they actually want that in a way?
I think we
properly
want
test
that.
themselves.
Yeah, because you want to see that. You want to see that. You want to have that test. We need that as well. We want to see if Elliot Anderson can, OK, this is the turn. They've turned the heat up a bit. Let's see how he... Yeah, you want to see that. You want to see Noni Madueke playing against maybe better opposition. See if he goes past people. You want to see Ebreches in that middle, getting his 10 like we've seen he can do, slipping balls through, taking shots if he gets the opportunity. You want to see all that.
Yeah, because of the lack of jeopardy quite often with a lot of these groups, you almost have to go looking for it, don't you?
I think
Belgrade should offer.
Yeah, I think the players and the manager and the staff will probably look forward to it. I think it'll obviously be a hostile atmosphere, but let's not kid ourselves. Serbia aren't that great either. If England bring their A game, you think they'll win.
The thing is, I remember back in 1993, it's a long time ago, showing the Big D's age now, when England had to beat San Marino by 7 clear goals and hope that the Netherlands got beat by Norway for them to have any chance of qualifying for the 1994 World Cup in America, ironically, which is where it's going to be next year, or partly anyway. And they absolutely battered them 7-1. They scored 7 goals against San Marino. San Marino aren't much better than Andorra. Or Andorra aren't that much better than San Marino. Or maybe they're both the same. I don't know. Point being, Andorra are crap. Or they're meant to be. Why are England struggling, labouring to beat them just 2-0? And one of those was an own goal. I don't understand. England should be battering them 5, 6, 7-0 and showing their dominance. Even this B team that Thomas Tuchel played today, is that the best team he could play? I'm not up to speed with the England situation at the moment, to be honest. It's the first England video I've done for a while. But I watched the match. Madueke played well, if that's how you pronounce it. Declan Rice seemed to do all right. Harry Kane missed a sitter. Rashford was crap. But there was just no magic there. I mean, where was Jude Bellingham? Where's Cole Palmer? Are they being rested for the second game? There must be another game on Wednesday, is there? I mean, it seems to me that Thomas Tuchel was doing a little bit of a rotation today. And I don't understand that. Why are you rotating an international team? I don't get it. You only play a game every 6 months or 3 months or something like that. Just play your best team all the time because your best team needs as many minutes as it possibly can get to play together for when they play the big teams later on in the qualifiers or in the World Cup itself. What's all this taking a look at a player and all of that? I don't get it. Do you not watch the Premier League? Do you not scout these players? Just pick your squad and then pick your starting 11, which is the best starting 11. Never mind giving teams players a run out, because they don't need a run out, because if they're playing for England, they're getting run outs every week playing for Palace or Arsenal or Chelsea or whoever. They don't need a run out. You need to play your best team. I don't know. A lot of these managers of international teams, they just seem to have a club mindset. And I can understand giving players runs out if you're playing for like Man United or something, because you need to manage your squad and all of that. But when you're an international manager, you need to make the most of the time that you've got together. So you need to be playing your big guns all the time, barring an injury, obviously, so that they can get used to playing next to each other, so that, there can be a smooth transition into the major international tournament. Oh, but it's just England. And why is Thomas Tuchel the manager anyway? He's German. I'd much rather have Eddie Howe, I must admit. I'm trying to think, has the Big D changed his tune? I don't know, maybe. But it just doesn't seem right having a German manager managing the England national football team. It seems to be a little bit in bad taste, if you ask me, given the history of the rivalry between the nations, But hey-ho, it is what it is, and England are what they are. But I would like the international managers to play their full-strength team as much as they can whenever they get together. I want to see Jude Bellingham score a hat-trick against Andorra. I want to see Cole Palmer take on 4 players and chip the goalkeeper against Andorra or San Marino or Liechtenstein or something like that, because that's all part of the football, I want them to batter these teams like Andorra, Liechtenstein, San Marino, all these crap little teams. Punish them. Entertain the fans. That's what it's there for. Good grief. But anyway, what do you guys think? Do you think England played well, beating Andorra 2-0? Thoughts in the comments, and the Big D will see you in the next one.